Hi, in this very short video we're going to look at rearranging linear equations into the form y equals mx plus c. You'll recall of course that m refers to the gradient of our particular linear equation, c is the y-intercept. And these two values, the m and the c, often help us describe what the actual equation will look like, what our line will look like as we plot it. So let's look at a linear equation that's not in this form and see what we need to do to actually rearrange it. So you might get your linear equation looking like this, and we know it's a linear equation because both the x and the y don't have powers associated with them, or at least the power that is just a 1, and of course we don't show that. So to rearrange this, all we are trying to do is actually bring that y over to one or other side of the equation in order that it's there all by itself. And the best way to do it in this particular example is just to add it. So I can actually add y to both sides, which has the effect of leaving the 2x and the positive 1 on the left hand side, and as we bring the y over the other side it changes from a negative y to a positive y. And so our equation can be rewritten as y equals 2x plus 1. And as you can see, the gradient is apparent as 2 and the y-intercept is 1. Let's look at a slightly more complex one. So again, it's not in the standard form, the y equals mx plus c form that gives us all this information. It's in a different form. So now we'll look at rearranging this to get it in the form that's of most use to us. Now, whereas this up here, this example had a negative y and it actually worked to our advantage to bring the y across. Here the y is already negative. We do have two of them. The y is already positive. We do have two of them. But if I was to change that and bring it over the other side, we'd have a negative y. So what I'm going to do is slightly different. I'm going to leave the y here. And I'm going to actually just literally subtract the 4x over the other side. So you see it's a positive 4x here. As I bring it over the other side, that becomes a negative 4x. And we're going to do a similar thing to the 6, where it's a negative 6 here. By adding 6, we will have the 6 reappearing, this time on the right side as a positive 6. I should have left myself a little bit more room there. Not to worry. So far we've got 2y equals negative 4x plus 6. So you'll have noticed there is, as we shift things from one side of the equation or the equal sign to the other side, typically we just change their sign. If they're a positive on the left, they become a negative on the right. And if they're a negative on the left, shifting them over makes them a positive on the right. The last part of this is actually saying how do we get rid of our 2? And I know the 2 is multiplying the y. So if I divide both sides by 2, I'm going to have 2y divided by 2 is y. Negative 4x divided by 2 is negative 2x. Note that we are dividing here the negative 4 by the 2. And 6 divided by 2 will give us 3. So that 2 divides by every single term and helps us to cancel down. And as you can see here now, we've got the gradient of negative 2 and the y-intercept readily apparent. So these things can now be graphed in the way that we've learnt previously. Thanks for listening.